Why, hello there. Let's go ahead. Make sure. Get that adjusted real quick. Okay, make sure that everything's happy. And it would seem to be. Okay. And then we'll get started and see if this idea is worth anything or not. So, we also need to call, get connection data again up here in our init. Is that not what I called you? Is it defined for the type room data form state? Oh. I messed up my braces. That's what happened. There we go. Okay. I don't know if this is going to make this widget rebuild. I hope it is. We might have to do provider after all, but we'll see. So you need a controller instead of a data. It's going to be final, and it is a connection data form controller. That is required. There we go. That goes away. All of this goes away. We do need to make sure we dispose that controller because we did build that in. And we called you connection controllers. We'll call dispose on them all as we go. Okay. That goes away now too. So we have expanded and modified. Both of those I think are gonna be... Wait. Did we put... We don't have modified in there. We'll probably need to. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be all right. This is now... controllers data. Same here. And we did put you in there, correct? Yes, okay. Controller not connection. That's that one. our... This is going to need to be public as well, or exported, however you want to say it. That, like so. Same here. Like so. Oop. I type it correctly. And exit description controller. Oop. Ah. My keyboard's all out of place. There we go. Okay, and then down here, same deal. And then reset data is going to go away completely and be replaced with reset data here. We're going to need to set state though in here for sure. Or at least I'm pretty sure. Wait, what's going on here? Oh yeah, dot name. Okay, yeah, because of that. Okay. Okay. The other thing is there should be another reset up here, I think. There's another one of those here, though. I guess there was only the one. Oh, yeah, because we don't reset when we have it collapsed. Right. Okay, so there is that. Let's see what happens. Okay, we grab one of these. You overflow. I gotta fix that, apparently. Damn it. And it, ooh. Because we didn't, I guess. I guess we can late these. And then exit, and then exit description. Is that Peachy? Okay. It is. Alright, so, and then we go womp womp womp. If I reset you, it does rebuild it. Okay, it doesn't reset this. That's fine. We probably just need to move that state up into here. As well. And then seem to have forgot to bring a beverage. Over to my desk. Still trying to shake the last of this cold. Alright, okay, so modified in here, false, and then here. We need to get rid of that. Same process here. Okay. That still happens. It didn't get cleared. Because the state didn't get rebuilt from that. Crap. So we can either do provider and bring in another dependency, or there's a Flutter thing, inherited widget class. Or use provider. And we really could just pull it in. It does seem a little bit overkill. Um, The other thing we could do is just apply the unsaved changes to the above. We gotta fix that too. Do I want to do that? It'd be nice to keep the display of which of these has changed. Just thinking about how I want to do this. We could get away with taking apply out of here, I suppose. And then that would be more conducive to having just this show here, right? We could also just let this drive all of the resetting. It is kind of busy right now, right? I'm just trying to figure out the best UX here, basically. Because it's kind of awkward either way. The other thing to think about is that we want to be as reusable as possible, right? This isn't going to be present in a connection window. It'll be just these guys. I think what we're going to do, okay, we're going to move this to the bottom, kind of like this. And then we're going to have it be for the whole room in here. Well, how does that work in a... Yeah, we'll just prompt you to delete if you want to delete all connections in this tile. And then we can have reset data here, I guess. I really don't want to bring in provider for just a bool, right? And you set modified to false. It's just it doesn't get updated in here. And I think that's going to be a problem with the drop-down menu as well, though. That's kind of a prob. It works for the text controllers, but we're clearing their data. So I'm not totally happy with the way this implementation works. But also, I guess we could do like a map in there and map to this thing. Because we can't do that, let's just do that. Oh, except for yeah, that's a problem, huh? Gotta figure out how I want to handle this. Could I put a map in provider? Maybe. Maybe. That would clean up some of this widget.controller kind of verbosity here. Let's put this back in here real quick. So usage, variables change over time. Let's give it a shot. It seems to be pretty widely used. So while it's not official, it's gonna solve some problems for us. And it is 6.1.5, right? Meow. Oh, I mean, it hit one too many. There we go. Oh, YAML. Okay. And then in here, I think it goes in here. I need better docs from you, provider. Do you have things in the GitHub? Not in resources, that's for sure. I guess that's all the doc we get. Okay. Oh, so we need to extend a change notifier. Hang on one sec, I'll be right back. Beverage acquired. Okay. Meow. All right, so we would need to do this, I think, in here. Wait, I'm in tile data. That's not where I want to be. I would have to create one of these for each. Can I even put this anywhere other than in Run App? And then we have our counter app that we used. Yeah. We did in the initial. Can I put... Can I put this in a different widget? Well, okay, so they would wrap... We'd wrap this. But we also need... This creates the counter in this example. With change notifier. So we would need to have... another class kind of like that in here, which would be fine. This would be the container we just got rid of. And then we'd need one more of those. Oh, duh. That's what happened. And this hasn't... And we need that. And then we'd have to move this into there. What are we using you for again? That. Okay, yeah. I remember that now. We can do that. Call you that, I guess. You have that. We get rid of that. So we make that. This needs to be... Is it change notifier or provider? Is that okay? And you have that, and then you have... So we'd have to do everything through here again if we go this route. Do I want to, though? We could use the key, the ID as the key in a map. So let's explore that. That might not be a bad idea. You're now a map. UID value, connection from controller. We need to import that. Okay, that's fine. You're now that. We can do add controller. Data form controller. That is you. You can't be null. And then, I can just call you dispose, I suppose. Okay, it's an override. So we'll call super on you. But we'll also say for Can I do that? No. How do I... How do I do that in Dart again? Oh, okay. It is not that. It is... No. It is, okay. And then we have value. And we say dispose there. Oh, I can just go through values. Okay, yeah, that's even better. Perfect. And then in here, we do... Ooh, except for you're not... You don't exist here. Right? How did we use you? How do I call you though? Let's see here. This is a different creature. Hmm. Hmm. It might be a bit of a problem. I guess I could do just a regular. So in here I do, we'll just do that, which is a, no? Oh, just change notifier? Am I doing this right? Change notifier provider. This is a change notifier. Okay, yeah. Then I call that. Theoretically, that should work. Okay, so now we need to spruce this back up here. We also need to have inside of our provider a reset data. We do that like so. That replaces this, so you gotta do the same deal, which we might as well just and then I guess in our init state we can do this. And then we can do that, and then we should have access to you here as well, which will tidy this up. Is that not what I just called you? Yeah. I must not be reading that context correctly. Oh, this should be connection form tracker. That's what you should be. What are you? You're one of those, right? Yes. There we go. Okay. Oh, and I deleted my connection form list along the way here somewhere. That still needs to be here. Room data is still there. We called you connection form list. You should be connection data form. That. Except for you can't be final because we actually just reset you. Okay, that's fine. We'll put you down here. That fixes that up. And then add controller instead of that. Okay. Now, we do need to make sure oh, damn it. Okay, no, we can still do this. Okay, I think this is still fine. Just up here, we need to notify listeners. I think we're still okay. That takes the place of like set state, right? Okay, so now you over here in connection data form land, instead of having this, you don't need this anymore. You do need that. We'll just call you data, but you are a no, what do we call you? Form tracker. Oh, except for you can't be. So they were all in the same file in the other one. How do I... how do I correctly use you inside of another file? Are you just a var here? Can we make that happen? Well, no, because we need to... Oh, yeah, because it's context. We read like so. Except for all of this is unhappy. Well, you need to go inside of a build in this case. Because that's where we have context. Okay, import provider. Okay, now we get that. What am I doing wrong? I'm sure it's something, but what is it? This. I forgot that. Okay, there we go. But we need to get... This is actually going to be provider. And then... the controller... And then I should be able to get connection controllers. Except for I don't know what my UUID is. I need that in here. I guess you can't be const. You final, that's fine. Oh, I guess, yeah, you can be lowercase. That's okay. So you have to give me an ID. Tell me who I am. That's fine. In here, this becomes the UUID, like so, but you can't be null. And then you, like so. And you can't be null. Okay, then... we could also just make a convenience... variable there. Just to kind of shorten this down and make it a little easier to track with your brain. It's in the wrong spot. It should be right before data. What? Like so. Like so. You are controller here still. That's still a true fact. Okay. All of this goes to that. You can just be data. And the same with y'all over here. Okay. I think we have untangled most of that, except me relaunch that, make sure everything gets... Okay, so could not find the correct provider above this room data. Because use the build context doesn't include a provider of choice. You added a new provider in your main Dart before the hot reload. Form, fix a hot restart. We just did that. Prior is in a different route. It's not true. Build context as an ancestor of the provider. Nope. Room data forms under your multi-provider. Provider. Under your multi-provider provider. Room data form. Creating a provider and trying to read it immediately. I bet you it's in here. I bet you this is the one. In our init state. Let's restart that just to see. Okay, provider's not initialized. That gets fired here. What if I do this change instead of in a init state? Well, I can't do it there. There is, I need to do perhaps there's a way to delay this. You just check that in here really quick. And that should give me a different error again. Field provider has not been initialized. Okay. Maybe that wasn't it. Okay, that gets me back to could not find the correct provider. Because this gets fired before. I need this to wait. And we did this in... Where do we do this? Was it just in status effects? Yes. But I don't think that won't be async. Or I'm not sure, I guess you should say. Not that I don't think, I'm not sure if this is... What are you complaining about here? Oh, you need one of those. Okay, that's working. So it does work to delay it to there. Okay, but I don't have data. I don't have widgets in there. So we create you, get our context data. We've got our form list. Yeah, I know you're complaining. There's things hiding. I'm gonna stop and restart just to get all that cleared out. The things I do for sanity. Okay, so it does still have an issue where room data form widget. Above this room data form. Why would you find... Oh. Because this still isn't above, so we're trying to read it out of the context. So this needs to go in a parent if I can to read it in this widget. Crap. Okay. Okay, so what if instead in here I do this? Preview provider has not been initialized. But you should be. Let's make sure it's not a hot reload issue. Probably not, but yeah, still same. Okay. Should be initialized though. I'm concerned that this is going to try to rebuild each time anyway. All right, so I'm pretty sure I'm misusing all of this stuff. Okay, so let's kind of go back to the drawing board on how we want to handle this, I guess. Because this is adding a lot of complication and it's not working, right? We could get this working properly, maybe. But I'm not sure that it's the correct way I want to go about this anyway, because it's adding, like I said, a lot of complication. We're going to stop this, and this is the reason we haven't done any commits yet. We're just going to restore everything to discard the changes. And then we can delete you. So we're just going to chuck all that. It was an interesting experiment, but we're not going to do it. Let's make sure this is all hunky-dory. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to where we were here. We do know some things still here, right? So the rebuild. Okay. So we know that we want to move this down. That's going to fix some of our issues. I think I want to have my unsafe changes warning up here. That way it's always visible no matter where you're scrolled to. We do need to fix that as well, which we'll do by moving the save down there. So we could go back to the idea of putting the connection stuff in here. We could unique key the child widgets so they all get rebuilt anytime we hit refresh. I don't necessarily love that. I'm not sure I'm happy with this UI in general here. Come on. Behave yourself, window. Okay. Because if you edit this and then collapse it, this is too busy. I think these need to go. Bundling up the stuff into the controller was kind of an idea, but yeah, shut up. We have our connection data at this level. Like at the end of the day, we pass it the data, but it does belong to room data. Kind of. I'm not sure how I want to do this. Hmm. The state management part is tricky. Very tricky. And this does need to be a stateful widget for the sake of the drop-down menus, which we're gonna need for setting the DC stuff. And I don't really want to register like a billion different callbacks with this thing either, right? I guess we don't have to, though. Because we give you the data, and we can get that data back, handed back to us, when we do a change, right? So that's okay. And then we can act upon it appropriately with the controller, which we don't actually have in here either. Because the state for this room form actually lives in the map, really. Or for the room data, rather. In the map pane specific. Well, no, up here in the map editor. Okay, yeah. So selected data is selected. So ultimately, tile data here is going to need a callback for on save, right? Which is fine, I believe. This is just one permutation of what we're doing here. So it's going to need to call back for that, which is okay. No big deal there. I don't think. I think we get rid of the modified here. And I think we get rid of the buttons also. So we don't need any of that. Don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need you. And we don't need that. Let's also get... Let's get rid of you in the overall view. You can still come in here and delete. We want that. But inside of there, we're going to get rid of apply. We're going to have, and we're going to get rid of reset too, I think. Do I want to do that? Yes. One too many. That. So we're only going to have delete as an option in when you expand it. We needed to fix that up, but that's fine. That's just visual. We're going to then... We're going to unique key you. So if I come in here and I go, oop, and I go, blah, 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 that should show up here. I hit reset. It does collapse it though. Which is probably fine. I'm okay with that, I think. We do want to be able to show here in the top, in our header, so to speak, tile data, and then we're going to need column here. Widget, list, the end. We don't need the center widget anymore. Because We can center you. Yeah, that does go away, doesn't it? There we go. Ooh, except for... that breaks our bottom border. We need to... You're expanded, though. Trainer. Would I need another expanded? No. It's main axis, though, not... Would I need to put you in a row first? For the sake of... just the space carved out. Yes, okay. Like so. Then I don't need to care. Ooh, I do care about that though. No, I don't. You're good. Okay. That fixes that. So then we got our tile data, and then we need a sized box in here. Because... and let's say spacing of 10, I guess. I don't know, 15. Except for that's going to shove that up. If I don't do that, though, it's going to shove you there. End. Now. Ah, you know what I want? I want y'all. Except for that'll put you both. That's not what I want then. Crap. Are there any other... What if I don't do that? If I put you in a center and then let you hang out. Well, that's frustrating too. Okay, let me roll this back really quick because it's breaking stuff. If we're gonna do that, I do want unsaved data to appear up there, though. But I don't want the UI to wiggle. We need to do center that. How do I want to manage this? Because if I just add it to another row, it'll just pop over, or to the same row, it'll pop over here, which I don't particularly want. Or do I? What if... But that's going to push it out of center as well. The answer might be a stack. Seems like that shouldn't be so hard, though. Um... There's on a line. I don't want that. Hmm. flexible, maybe? What if I put you in a flexible? We still need a column for you, though. And then if I don't have you... Why aren't you... Okay, and then if I undo that... Ooh. If I uncomment that... It was almost there. Not quite. It's roughly the same with or without. What are my other options here? Align, baseline, center, constrained box, container, padding, size box, transform, carousel column, grid view, list view, row and stack. I don't want either of those, though. Well, that didn't give me anything. And this will make everything... I can't do a null, right? Yeah. That'll off-center my tile data. I just want it to start in the middle and then... move down from there. But for that, I would have to do like... I don't need that. Don't need that either, I don't think. No, I do need that. Oh, what if I did this? I center you. And we can just take you, make you regular again. No. I think that only centers me horizontally. No, it doesn't even do that. Doesn't appear to do anything inside of the column. So let's recenter you. Stupid idea. What if we did another column? So that the parent column gets the parent column centers the widgets. Oh, you need to move up into here so that you start in the center, and then no, that doesn't seem to work either. Well, crap. Let's get rid of that. Go back to that. Am I allowed to use a baseline inside of a column? Baseline type is required. I guess I did not understand the baseline. Let me go back and read that. Lines a child within itself and optionally sizes itself based on child's size. So, type of baseline to use for positioning the child. Baseline is the number of logical pixels from the top of this box at which to position the child's baseline. Ah. And I can't do constraints here because I can do. No. Yeah. I guess I can. And then the type of baseline, text baseline? What is a baseline type? Ah, alphabetic. Okay. There we go. Okay. What would that do? That's very interesting. It would overflow. And I think that's because, yeah. I would need to do a layout builder. Within here, I think, which I don't particularly want to do. But it also moved my tile data up. So it was an interesting idea, but no bueno. Let's get rid of you. Back to you. As stupid as it is, I think stack is the answer. There's also the align, but that's still not going to Get her done. I can't. I can't do an expanded without a child to fill up that upper space. I guess I could. I don't need that center. I don't need a flex either. If I did that, okay, that gives us that. You I could do that. And then I have an alignment. End. Oops. Bottom center. There we go. You can be last. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So that's closer. I would also want the same, I think, maybe. Oops. That's closer to what I want. Perhaps not even this, though. What if I just did center on you? And if I did, I don't know, like 6 here and 4 here, that would put you much, much closer to where I want you to be. I could do that. And I could do that. You should probably be unsaved. Changes. Like so. And then you are unsaved changes or null. Like so. That hides that again. So we're back. Things seem to be pretty well lined up still. Um, need you to stop glitching there, screen. Okay, let's close these for a second. We've got way too much stuff open here. So we need to in our this. If we're gonna do this though, we would need to have like a callback to set this, but then we'd be using the heck out of that thing. It would be the end of the world. So we would need, okay, yeah, sure, but also um I guess that probably that instead. Um And then whenever we did anything in here, instead of this, we'd get rid of this guy. Except for that won't set the state in the parent. Unless we pass in set state. Um, I'd have to do something like that. I guess we could probably want to guard it. Actually, that would just be... No? if we swap these in, this guy also goes away because we're not going to use him in this case. And then in here, when we do our room form, here we do set modified is a func with a here we set state. Wait, do we not? Oh, unsafe changes is what we called you. That's fine. We do that. Does that work? If I do here, good. If I reset, it goes away. Okay. So we can drive that. Now, we would need to do the same thing in here to get this to show up, because right now it won't. It will reset, though, because we're throwing the key away, or changing the key, I should say. So this would need the same exact thing as room data form here. So you set modified. We get rid of our, oh, we already got rid of you. We would need to bring in the same thing here. We probably want to be a little more circumspect here, but we'll fix that in a second. Unchanged. You got it. You got it. You got it. That's it. Okay. So if I do that, then I come in here and that didn't get changed. Oh, because duh, I didn't pass you in. So we pass you along, which kind of, you know, sucks, but whatever. Then that gets, see, there's the problem with using the key, though. We set the state, okay, so it's not a total fix there. So this is a non-starter there, but we can't, hello? We can do that part. Okay. I think That's a pain in the neck, you know what? I think I might end up doing... Crap, I shouldn't have thrown away that file. The controller idea, it did bundle up these things nicely to interact with them as a unit. It's not a huge deal. It wasn't that big of a file, right? Which is kind of why I was okay throwing it away. I might end up doing it again. Because the only other option is to have a bunch of text controllers in this widget. Would I rather that, or would I rather another thing to try to track bugs through? That's the question. I think because we only ever act on them as a unit, I think it's probably going to be... But how are we going to do the drop downs? But we can drive the values from there. It's, I think... No, because our drop down menu, we've got them already in status effects. Selected effects, status effect edit. You have multiple description, text, property to modify. Here we go. Drop down menu. So when we do a reset in here, where did I put my reset data? Should have been at the end. Reset fields is what I called you. Effect modified is false. Property to modify ID is none. This does have a text controller. Option controller. Okay. We have an option controller and an item controller in there. So yeah, I might be able to do that still. Says an initial selection, but option controller. Where's the other one? Modifier item controller. Oh, wrong thing. Item controller, item controller. Item controller. That's, I believe, the toggle between the skills and attributes, because you can modify either one. But yeah, okay, so if yeah. Ooh, I don't want to. I think I'm gonna have to make that controller again, get all that working, and before I do a commit, I need to implement those first to make sure, I think, that I can reset them correctly. And I might as well just do it, because otherwise I have to back out to commit and mess around with that. And I don't want to do that if I don't have to. It'd probably be easier just to one-shot it all together. And if it doesn't work, then we kind of just go back to the drawing board again by just chucking it all. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'll probably do it over the next couple days on my weekend. Yeah, because it's getting late. I'm getting tired. But I mean, it was a productive session of trying to, figure out how I want to handle some things. That's for sure. Let me leave myself a note here. I have some to-dos. I should really be putting them in the project tracker, but it's fine. We want to just clean up the to-dos before we do anything, or before we merge this branch. So put the reset and apply and delete buttons the footer of this page. Register the callbacks. Well, no, we don't have to do that. Yeah, register callbacks with different room type or tile types for delete and save. And then put you up here. It's fine to do. Move the reload, apply, and delete buttons. Oh, except for reload. We needed to prove that out first. To do, prove we can reset the data with a callback from the parent. Because if we move the well, I guess we don't have to do to put it over there. Because we have this room to play with here. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this widget. Where's my scroller? Because then we just shoot ourselves in the foot right all over again, right? Yeah, we need to put I don't need this one at all. This needs to come up in here. Instead of that. So it's instead of between in a fixed footer. Instead of between the room and connection list, room form. Okay. And that'll keep us clear of troubles, I hope. And then we'll just have to handle the on-save callback, which is fine. Because room will encapsulate all of the connection things and be able to drive its state. The UI widget will allow it to fill in data and whatnot and change the data, but it won't make any changes. Yeah. I was thinking, no, I can't hand back stuff because then it becomes problematic. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. We got some to-dos. I'll noodle on this a little bit. We'll see how far I get, how much time I have. But thanks for everybody who swung through to hang out. I always appreciate some lurkers. And it is kind of a Monday night on a night getting closer to the holiday season. So I hope you're all doing well. But if you like this kind of thing, I do it 4 nights a week for about 2 hours or so, starting on Friday and ending tonight. So come back around 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday, and I should be here doing this thing again. Yeah, and I'd love to see you. If not, you guys have yourselves a great week anyway, and I'll catch you some